I don't wanna say anything, cause if I do I might say the wrong words. Oh no. So I'll keep my mouth shut and not listen. Afraid I lose you if I didn't. Till we find what we're missing and compromise. So I'll keep my shoes home and not leaving. We're on thin ice, winter season. Can't we find a single reason not to say goodbye? Oh, if I said what's on my mind, would you stay with me tonight? If I said what's on my mind, would that make you run and hide? Run and hide. Run and hide. If I said what's on my mind, would that make you run and hide? Would that make you run and hide? Run and hide. Run and hide. Oh, would that make you run and hide? Don't know what to do anymore. I'm out of options, nothing's working. I'm out of service. Come help me now, I'm fucking nervous. I'm trying but can't scratch the surface. So I'll keep my mouth shut and not listen. Afraid I lose you if I didn't. Till we find what we're missing and compromise. So I'll keep my shoes home and not leaving. We're on thin ice, winter season. Can't we find a single reason not to say goodbye?
This is Alley Catch, and you're watching Cold TV.
Jesus Christ, what a clusterfuck of a start. Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to Pro Wrestling 60. So, okay, keeping it real. So, literally, we were about to go live, and then B-roll got kicked off, and we lost our slideshow presentation. So then we had our stream, at least it was on my screen here, but apparently, I don't know if you know this or not, B-roll, but apparently it was on my face the whole fucking time before we were going live. It wasn't playing the video like we... Anyways, that's why we love doing live so fucking much, let me tell you.
That's beautiful.
So, me looking confused for trying to get shit ready the past late 5 minutes, and thank God the network let us, go on early and go on later. Anyways, as I say, I'm Xlj the Og. This is my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, this week hailing from Westbury, Massachusetts, one Mr. B-Roll. How are you?
Yes, indeed. I guess at least you had your clothes on, but like before, like
Yeah, I guess. Just
like
people see me looking like a dumbass, like I'm like as I've got my camera and my phone, and I'm trying to get stuff switched over to my laptop. And anyways, but we're here. We're live.
yeah.
We're live, pal. We're live here on Cold TV, and we are going to recap somehow over these next 90 minutes or less everything that happened this past week in the world of professional wrestling, and what is arguably going to go down as one of the most historic weeks in professional wrestling. We got a lot to talk about, don't we, Mr. B-Roll?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we do. So we better hit him with the sweet, sweet line, the sweet chin music, if you will. I'm Mr. B Roll. He is XLJ. We're not going to have any more technical difficulties today. I knocked on wood. He crossed his fingers. And I say the clock starts now. Let's get right into it. What are we going to talk about? What do you think we're going to talk about?
Gee, I wonder what our top story was going to be. So, the Elimination Chamber took place this past Saturday night, and it is probably going to go down as one of the most prolific Elimination Chambers of all time. Easily, maybe one of the biggest Elimination Chamber. You were asking me this the day after, like, is that the best Elimination Chamber they've ever had? And I think this is going to go down as the best Elimination Chamber in WWE history. A lot happened on this show. A lot that is detrimental to WrestleMania. So, of course, we got to get right into it. Let's talk about that men's Elimination Chamber matchup. The main event as a shot for Cody Rhodes' championship was on the line, a main event spot. And it was going into it, it was like easily one of the most stacked fields. I mean, it was a who's who. Anybody could have walked out the Elimination Chamber. Not shocked with the final two who it came down to. Man, oh man, CM Punk, always a bridesmaid, I guess, never a bride, as he came so close to winning this thing. And on top of that, the poor man had to deal with fucking technical difficulties all night in his damn chamber pod where the light kept falling down on him.
Yeah.
But CM Punk would be defeated by John Cena, and John Cena has booked his ticket to WrestleMania, where he will be in the main event. And yes, folks, we know we got a lot to talk about with Mr. Cena, but first and foremost, let's talk about the chamber match itself. What do you think of the match?
I mean, very, very solid match. So we, as a fan, we love storytelling, and um, so many matches for Mania, uh, what we feel like have gotten set up through
I
this
mean, not
match.
only in this matchup, but through the whole card. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So like you have sound looks like Damien and Drew, right?
Yeah,
We
because
we're
Drew the
thinking.
first eliminated. Damian Priest ended up pinning him. Um, but I mean, I think the big one we got to talk about Seth and Punk and whatever's going to happen there, because Seth costing CM Punk essentially the chamber. I mean, Punk had it won, and then he ended up curb stomping him, and thus Cena jumped right on it and got that STFU on him to get Punk to pass out.
Yep.
And like I say, Cena's
Which I
booked his
think,
ticket to Mania.
yeah, I absolutely I love the finish. I feel like it was just
Mm-hmm.
uh, beautiful in
Oh yeah,
in a way. Um,
yeah,
like with the Punk and Seth stuff,
oh yeah.
and then um, Cena winning it,
Mm-hmm.
even well,
Yeah, I mean, it
we'll
was
get there.
it
We'll
it,
get
it,
there.
it,
We'll get
it
there
was
with
all
Cena.
great because, but and Cena celebrating. Of course, by the way, our wrestler of the week this week on PW60 is John Cena. But here it is.
Let's
Let's
talk
talk
about
about
it.
it. Look at this picture right here. Like, if that is not, I'm calling HR and filing a complaint against my boss. I don't know what is, folks. The Rock and Cody Rhodes
He wants
closing
his
out the
soul.
show. Just he wanted his soul. He wanted his soul. This, like, my God, man, this, whether you loved it or hate it, like, this is a segment. This moment is stuff we're going to be talking about years to come. It's an instant classic, if you will, folks, because I can remember myself going back, and I'm sure all of you've done the same thing too. Have probably watched this clip over a dozen times, or if not more than that. Of course, just the way this started. Of course, first, obviously John's still in the ring. Cody comes out. They have their little powwow moment, and then Rock coming out with the man who you said was the MVP, if I remember correctly, one Travis Scott. Uh, and then you have like Rock pouring his heart out, and it's just this weird, like, I want your soul, boy. And it's just like, okay, whatever. And then Cody emphatically saying, "Go fuck yourself." The fact that he dropped that line. If you watched, we did a watch along with the World Championship Wreckage's crew, and I'm on there. I said, like, man, I would love it if he just said, "Fuck yourself, go fuck off" or something. And that's exactly what he said. Go fuck yourself, unedited. I mean, it was just like, wow, this shit's getting real, man. But then you have Cody standing up to The Rock, and then the moment that has changed the wrestling world, has put everybody on this thing. Here's the things, folks. When moments and stuff like this happens, it's once in a lifetime. You remember where you were when Hogan dropped the leg and turned on WCW. You remember where you were when Stone Cold uh, joined up with The Rock, or joined up with Vince McMahon, I should say. And you remember this moment. This is going to be one of those all-time moments. John Cena. I can't believe I'm saying this, B-roll. I never thought I'd say this. John Cena has officially turned heel. That's right.
What?
He, Mr. Hustle, loyalty, and respect, no more. As he just look at the look. This is pure, as the kids say, cinema. I mean, look at that look. Look at that. As soon as Cena has that look in his face, right at The Rock,
Mm-hmm.
you knew what was going down, and you're just like, oh my God, they're doing it. Because this is the thing. This Cena going and turning a heel had been discussed for years. I mean, I'm talking over 20 plus years. Never did it. And that now this is his last run. If you look at everything, how this has been laid out there, and I love one thing I love about WWE and Triple H's booking is the little Easter eggs they put here and there for the fans. And some stuff dropped like after this happened, and you just have this like, oh my God, that totally makes sense. Like You go all the way back to WrestleMania last year, where they're celebrating the ring, and John Cena's looking up at Cody, and he's like, you can hear him say, "I want that." Not thinking anything of it. Here we are. You go to Bad Blood, where The Rock holds up the 3, and it's actually kind of the John Cena thing, and then you get to this, and then even if you go back to the press conference at the Royal Rumble, so uncharacteristic of John Cena to be like, to put himself in the. I mean, there's just been little sprinkles of stuff here and there.
He literally said, like, quote unquote,
It's best for business,
which is what is like a rock that the line that the Rock has said. It's just like, I mean, this was perfect. It was cinema. The look, like as soon as you saw the look, you knew, but
taking the Rolex of his father's and beating the hell out of him with it. And then just like even Travis Scott got a shot in there too against Cody. And then, of course, The Rock with that belt whipping Cody and putting his blood on it. Oh my God. Like I got to tell you something, B-Roll. I was excited for WrestleMania before, but in the back of my mind, I was like, I'm realistic expectations. It's going to be a good show, but it's not going to top last year. This right here, not only this Cena, I mean, Cena and Cody is a great matchup as is. You could have even done it as babyface and babyface, but to make it this compelling of a matchup, to put this unique of a spin on it, it's like if you do a sequel, and maybe sometimes in some cases the sequel tops the first one. That's very well what the potential is here with this. Because it's crazy because there's like certain things have to fall in place for this to work as good as it's already looking on paper. Like if you would have turned Cena heel or 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been as impactful as you're doing it now. And you think about the way how this has presented itself. Why is John doing this? Okay. Well, think about it. The man has lost a multitude of matches in his last couple of years in the WWE. Not anywhere near the John Cena that we knew for so many years. And now it's like he's questioned himself. It's like, this is it. This is my last run. This is my last chance. This is my last opportunity. I have the opportunity to break records. I have the chance to get this record that's never been achieved before, and what many in this industry would strive to succeed for, with the most world championship title reigns. I mean, like I said, it just everything, it writes itself. It makes it compelling. It's like, okay, that's why he's doing this. And then there's so much potential, and maybe I'm reading too far ahead into this, but like I think you get a redemption story here at the end of the year. But then again, it also could be, is this going to be a reign of terror for Cena for his final run? Is he going to win is he going to take the WWE title at WrestleMania? We don't know. We just don't know. And that's what's so exciting about this is we are going into WrestleMania now with a once in a lifetime main event. It's happened before where these just unique matches have presented themselves. Like you go back to WrestleMania 18, you never thought you were going to see Hogan and Rock. Never thought you'd see Rock and John Cena at WrestleMania 28. And here we are again with a moment like that, and with a story that I would say is much more compelling than those other ones, because nothing, B-Roll, that's the thing. Nothing like this has been done before, where we are taking these two high-profile guys, we are putting them in the main event of WrestleMania. And by the way, we are taking the one guy who has literally been the face of this company for the past 20 years, who has been the top babyface, and now we're going to put him against our top babyface. It was like, I feel like this works so well because honestly, I don't think there's anybody who's been in WWE who could be the role of a John Cena until a Cody Rhodes. And I mean that as no disrespect as against any other guy, but I mean, I'm talking like white meat babyface. I mean, Roman's Roman. Roman is in a class unto himself. Mm-hmm. But we're talking as like the kissing babies and shaking hands like type of role, and Cody can easily do that. As you can tell with my enthusiasm, but just talking about this, we could spend the whole episode talking about this. But just this right here, folks, was something like you just don't see. I mean, this transcends pop culture. For God's sakes, they were talking about this today on ESPN on First Take. This was a top story on there. Like, if that just shows you how big of a moment this was, not only in the world of professional wrestling, but in pop culture in general. People are talking about this. This is water cooler talk. I mean, there's a reason why these ticket prices are so astronomical at WrestleMania, because everybody wants to be there and say they were there when they saw John Cena challenge Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. This is going to be something else. I am so excited. We are on that road to WrestleMania, but it's that time in the show where we need to go to our good friend Dad Hat as he gives us some advice. So let's go to Dad Hat with Dad Hat's tip of the week.
It's that time of the week again. Dad Hat's Life Lessons of the Week. Brought to you by World Championship Wreckage. Find them on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And also by the Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. every Wednesday, twitch.tv/Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. And now, here's Dad Hat.
All right, kids. Always remember, outward appearances are not what they always seem. Sometimes, even those closest to you don't know the real you.
See, there you go. Well, we talked about the men's chamber. Let's talk about that women's chamber that kicked off the show. And man, oh man, were we greeted with a shocker to start the night as Jade Cargill has returned to the WWE, returned from her injury after she was jumped by who at the time we thought may have been a mystery, may have been Liv Morgan, but nuh-uh. I don't think anybody would attack Naomi like they did if it wasn't she was the one that did it, because holy hell did Jade beat the shit out of Naomi. We were watching this live together and we popped hard, man, when this happened. Jade looks phenomenal too, by the way. What do you think of all this, though? I mean, because I feel like there were so many great elements that pulled off that made this so impactful. But what do you think of that moment?
She beat her ass.
Yes, unequivocally. The thing, yes.
Now, I still feel like so. And Kino, I think they said on commentary, they said, it is clear that Jade thinks that Naomi is the one that attacked her. They said that. They said it is clear that that Jade is definitely thinks that Naomi is the one that attacked her. Because still, the greedy wrestling fan in me still wants that it needs to be Bianca that attacked her.
Oh, I know there's the this happened while Jade was in the ring type of thing, but I think it's going to circle around one way or the other. I do think Bianca's the one behind it all. Like, maybe she didn't physically do it, but she's the mastermind behind it all. I think there's no ifs, ands, or doubts about that. Here's the thing with this. This isn't just one person pulling this off and making this segment great and impactful. I mean, there's so many elements in this. First and foremost, you got to say Liv Morgan. That reaction when Jade's coming out and her just selling the shit. And she's even saying, like, it wasn't me. And then, of course, Jade just looking menacing. Naomi with kind of her just casual thing. But Bianca as well, as she's like just in tears, like just so emotional, just yelling, just like, no, I don't want my two friends beating the hell out of each other. But everything about this was awesome, man. This was such a great start to that women's elimination chamber. And the women's chamber was incredible. And dare I say, maybe even better than the men's. But at the end of the day, Bianca Belair punched her ticket to WrestleMania, where she will challenge the winner of tonight's women's championship match on Raw. It's either going to be Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. Congratulations to Bianca. She did phenomenal. But I honestly have to say, I think the MVP of this matchup, without a doubt, was Liv Morgan.
Oh,
The
for sure.
performance she put on was incredible. Did you see the picture of her the next day? Like, first off, took one of the nastiest whips I've ever seen from that spot with Bianca and her hair. Like, my God, her back and her midsection, oh, it looked nasty. And then if you looked at her body and like if you looked at like she's got bruises all over her from this chamber matchup.
Hmm.
Like it's amazing to me. Liv Morgan had such a great year last year, but I mean she is still one of the top talents in WWE. Like
For sure.
it's just like everything about her, she is just killing it right now. But that being said, Bianca has punched her ticket. I think a lot of people had her favored to win. What do you think of Bianca winning the chamber?
So I'm not shocked, but I'm going to go back. I guess I'm beating a dead horse here. Another reason I think she did it though, only only a heel. It's very heelish that after one of your best friends got attacked, she's on the post show just talking about how she won and not checking on her friend.
Well, she did mention her somewhat, but
Somewhat,
yeah,
but
I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying. But like we say, we now know two more matches for WrestleMania. But man, oh man, you talk about incredible matches. We knew this was going to be a bad one, to say the least. And I mean, bad as in they're going to beat the shit out of each other. And that's what they did.
mhm.
Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn in a non sanctioned match lived up to the hype and then some. Just a tremendous, tremendous matchup here. So many times where it was like you thought the thing was going to be over, and then like they just kept topping each other. A lot of little nice Easter eggs in this one from their feuds in the past years in WWE. But Kevin Owens picking up the win against his former best friend, and it looked like he was about to pretty much end him. And then we got
Mhm.
another surprise on the night. The Viper is back. Randy Orton making his triumphant return, slaying Kevin Owens out with an RKO. Was about to hit him with that punt there, but officials would get involved. Looks to me like Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, I think, are on the road to WrestleMania. I would safely say they will probably be meeting at Mania.
I think for sure. Man, I was ready for him to punt him too, and then it was like all of
Yeah.
a sudden, woo!
Yeah. Um, that being said, like, what do you think? Where does Sammy go from here? Because Sammy was, I mean, he had a tremendous showing, but just not getting the win against his friend. I mean, I truly think like where they're going with this is Sammy is going to start questioning himself, and I think that leads to a Karrion Cross match, is what I'm
Yeah,
predicting.
yeah. I definitely could see that and would be completely for that. But
But we were talking about this today. You think about this at WrestleMania, what we're all potentially looking at. I mean, we obviously know we're getting Cena and Cody. We know we're getting Jay and Gunther,
mhm,
Tiffany and Charlotte. We're getting Bianca against whoever wins tonight.
Rhea.
I think you're good, safe to say you're getting Randy KO. Like we say, I could see Sammy and Karrion adding on there. You know, Punk
Sure.
and Seth are going to be meeting in something. Drew and I mean, this is just
Drew and
already looking.
Damien. Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking like an amazing show, and there's going to be plenty more to add to WrestleMania. But speaking of Tiffany Stratton and Tiffy time, we got to mention this too. Uh, Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus picked up a big win there in Trish's hometown of Toronto, where they would defeat Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. First off, love the fit for Trish. She looked
Mhm.
great. Interesting fact: first time she ever wrestled live in front of her kids before. So it's kind of pretty cool for her to have that moment there at the former Sky Dome in Toronto. Um, but I think this was like the whole Elimination Chamber as well was an awesome show. And huge, huge moments have happened as we are on the road to WrestleMania. And I mean, this is going to be a show, honestly, we're going to be talking about many years to come as far as I'm concerned. Well, my friend, we got our good buddy, the American Cream Dream himself, Husky Rhodes, has got some thoughts on the Elimination Chamber and all that went down. So let's go to Husky for a hot take here on PW60.
What is good, Pro Wrestling 60? It is your boy looking mad professional right now, the Americream Dream Husky Rhodes. Let's talk about that ending of Elimination Chamber. What? Like, look, I called it on the prediction show that John Cena was going to sell his soul to The Rock. I thought we would get it at Mania. I didn't think we were going to get it the way that we did. And to be honest, I've never been more happy to be wrong about something. That was fantastic. Cinema, as the children say. That just, wow. That put a whole lot more investment in my interest in WrestleMania this year. So it's kind of a foregone conclusion at this point that John Cena's beating Cody Rhodes at Mania. The question for y'all is, who does he drop the belt to on his way out? And also, I have a feeling that at some point before the end of John Cena's run, we will get Cena versus Rock 3. Now my question to you is that what's going to happen at the Ruthless Aggression pay-per-view in December? Just to be honest, Cena Rock 3, for him to close it out, I wouldn't be too mad at it. Boys, back to you.
Thank you so much, Husky. And I got to tell you, man, if they do that, I would be all about. Here's my opinion on. Here's the thing with this. I don't think Cena wins the belt. I don't think he breaks the record because I think the story really is here. It's like, you took the one time where you went to the dark side, so to speak, and it just shows you it didn't pay off. You could have done it the right way. All right. That's what I think the story they're going to tell with it, but who knows? But nonetheless, like Husky says, man, I am so invested and so excited in what's going to happen at WrestleMania this year. Well, let's talk about Monday Night Raw from this past Monday night, as this was the go-home show for Elimination Chamber, and it was a solid show. Once again, Raw's delivering, man. You kicked off with that Logan Paul CM Punk segment. Incredible triple threat match with Penta going up against Ludwig Kaiser and Pete Dunne. By the way, huge shout out to Ludwig Kaiser getting up a big win in that one. A little bit of a surprise, but then again, Penta did most of the work there. As he kind of snuck in there and did his heelish things that he does. Of course, you had the New Day in action against the LWO. Us continuing on with the story with Gunther and Jey Uso as we're getting closer to WrestleMania. Lia Valkyria successfully defended her Women's Intercontinental Championship against Dakota Kai. Of course, we got to see Dominic Mysterio in action against Braun Breaker. Poor Dom. And in that main event was huge as the women's tag team titles were on the line with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez picking up the win. I know, I just got that they're so connected to each other. But anyways, picking up a big win as this was their third title run as they defeated Naomi and Bianca Belair. So we have new women's tag team champions. What a week Liv Morgan's had, man. From an MVP-like performance in the chamber to winning the women's tag titles. Liv's on top. Look at Dirty Dom here, though. He's loving every minute of it. You lucky bastard.
Every minute of it.
He's living his best life, you son of a bitch. Let's talk about SmackDown from this past Friday night. Of course, the go home before the Elimination Chamber. They kind of changed things up again for the U.S. Championship. Now, ultimately, the reason behind this, unfortunately, Shinsuke Nakamura's brother actually passed away, so could not be here. Of course, we wish our condolences to the Nakamura family. But we ended up having this series of matches to determine the new number one contender for the U.S. Championship. So it was like 3 one-on-one matches, and then they had a triple threat towards the end of the show. Of course, winning those respective matches was Jacob Fatu over Andrade, LA Knight over Santos Escobar, and Carmella over Braun Strowman. Of course, ultimately, LA Knight would win the triple threat and is the number 1 contender for the United States Championship. Of course, that match to happen here on down the road. Shout out to Piper Niven. Like, coming out dressed as the Mountie. Come on, man. Oh, that was such good shit. And Chelsea with her gear with the half U.S., half Canadian stuff. Of course, a big matchup between the Women's United States Champion and the WWE Women's Champion with Tiffy going up against Chelsea Green there to start the show. And, of course, we had everything, the build-up with these different promos for Elimination Chamber. But SmackDown was a fun show, too, as well. Let's talk about, though, because, man, oh, man, a lot happened on TNA Tuesday nights. Is that what we're calling this now, right? I think?
Yeah.
Let's talk about NXT from this past week as I tried to make a bad dad joke there. Man, oh, man, a lot happened on this show. As we are going into Roadblock here in, I think it's next week, and coming to you live from the theater there in Madison Square Garden. That's going to be a loaded show, man. But this was a great show. Live in Cincinnati this past week as well, with Stephanie Fakur successfully retaining her North American Women's Championship. Of course, we now have this massive matchup going into Breakdown will be taking place. Of course, Moose was on NXT and successfully defended his X Division Championship against Cincinnati's own Lexis King. The Hardys were on WWE. Yes, the Hardys successfully defending their TNA Tag Team Championship against No Quarter Catch Crew. Of course, now they will be putting those belts on the line against Fraxium at Breakdown. Also, we got to see Lola Feist was in action against Ariana Grace. Big main event, too, with the in-ring debut of Ricky Saints teaming up with Javon Evans to go up against Wesley and Ethan Page. Dude, this show was just loaded from top to bottom. What do you think of Ricky Saints' debut in NXT? He looked pretty damn good, didn't he?
So, you knew the in-ring was going to be solid.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the entrance music.
It's going to take some time to get used to, but there's definitely a lot of elements of Ricky's personality there for sure. So, but nonetheless, NXT was a solid show. But like we say, we're on that road now for Breakdown, and we got it. Clay says hi. We got a tremendous card already in store for you. Of course, it is a champion versus champion, title for title matchup. It's a dream matchup. We got Julia defending her NXT Women's Championship against Stephanie Fakur for that NXT Women's North American Championship. Of course, Moose to challenge for the NXT Championship against Obafemi in a dream matchup. And Fraxium will challenge the Hardy Boys for those TNA Tag Team Championships. Dude, this is like a massive pay-per-view to it. Like, I don't even see how Stand and Deliver is going to top this with just these 3 matches alone. And man, oh man, could you imagine if we live in a world where Moose walks out, still X Division champion, and the new NXT champion? That is huge, man.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is fuck
trust the system. I know.
Fuck the system.
No, you said trust the system.
They're probably gonna get involved, and
B-roll loves the system, by the way. If you didn't know.
Fuck the system.
Nah, trust the system, brother. You just gotta trust them. And speaking of the system,
want them to go away.
Well, they're certainly not going away on Tuesday nights, and they're damn sure not going away on NXT Thursday night. I mean, TNA Impact from Thursday night. Matter of fact, the show started off with your favorite group, The System, kicking off the show. Mike Santana was in action against NXT's own Aura Mency. Tessa Blanchard was in action.
Who cares?
Fuck her. I love the chant like Tessa, we coming for you, but it's just I don't know. Don't get me started on her. Steve Macklin was in action against Casey Navarro, and we had a
Red.
there you go, and had a big knockouts tag title matchup with some huge ramifications as Spitfire would go up against Ash and Heather by Elegance. Of course, the losers of this match would have to be the personal concierge for the winners for the next 24 hours. And, well, let's just say we don't have new Knockouts Tag Champions. So Heather and Ash by Elegance, they are going to be in for some tough times ahead. So that's going to be interesting to see how that falls out on TNA. Big matchup with Mance Warner going up against Sami Callahan. Yeah, could you imagine? That would be a fun matchup, though. But Mance Warner going up against Sami Callahan, of course, ending in a no contest. And big main event with Obafemi teaming up with the Hardys to take on B-Roll's favorite team, the System. Fuck the System, he says. But
it's put me in a bad mood.
Well, I'm sorry you're in a bad mood with the System, but I don't know, bro. They may be walking out with a lot more goal come Roadblock. But maybe this will help put you in a better mood, okay? Because I want to put you in a good mood, buddy. We still got a lot more to talk about here.
Okay.
How about we go to our good, close, personal friend, Spicy Guac, for a spicy take?
These were some damn good pickles. I'm just saying. Also, why is MJF going to remove a tattoo? Was the tattoo even real? Am I even real? What is life? What are you?
It comforts me that I'm not the only one that drinks out of like a used pickle jar. Anyways, thank you so much, Spicy. But hey, it's that time of the show. We got to talk about AEW because we got a lot going on in the world of All Elite Wrestling. It ain't just about WrestleMania season, folks. Oh, no, because Revolution is coming up this upcoming weekend, and a lot transpired this past week on AEW leading up to that. Of course, we kicked off with the show with the Hangman Squash, and then, as Spicy alluded to, that footage of MJF getting that AEW tattoo laser removed. What do you make of that, by the way? What are your thoughts on that? Is this storyline based, you think? Or is Maxwell potentially regretting the decision he made with old Papa Khan? What do you think?
Here's the deal.
I mean, it was a stupid-looking tattoo.
It was a stupid-looking tattoo. What's the line I always say, or we always say, or I shouldn't take credit for this because I didn't make it up, but professional wrestling is at its best when the lines between reality and fantasy are blurred. I feel like there is some reality to the tattoo removal. I feel like there is some reality there. But yeah. I think since it was happening, why not use it?
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion, and I could be dead wrong. So take that for what it is.
It is what it is, folks. But nonetheless, we know we've got a big matchup coming between those two at Revolution. And also, Will Ospreay was in action as well, going up against everybody's favorite bounty hunter, Brian Keith. We had Brian Cage and Lance Archer going down to the Outrunners, and it looks like the Outrunners will now be challenging for the tag team titles at Revolution. And yes, that is a squeaky going off in the background. If you hear
your boys are excited for the Outrunners.
I have never seen a squeaker like this before. Like, these guys usually tear them up and get to them, but this thing has lasted at least 3 weeks. Anyways, enough about squeaky toys, because that's not what we're talking about on PW6. We're talking about Dynamite. We're talking about AEW. The Undisputed Kingdom was in action against FTR and Daniel Garcia. Of course, we're continuing on this road with Adam Copeland and the Death Riders. as a couple more Death Riders taken out. Even Marina Shavir's Willow Nightingale got her, with getting a little bit of revenge against her for all the times that she's been jumped here. Love seeing Harley Cameron on Dynamite, not only on Dynamite, picking up a huge win against, I know your girl, Deonna Purrazzo, but still, great to see Harley in action.
Good,
And what?
Good for Harley. Good for Harley.
Yeah. And what a main event, with Takeshita successfully defending his international championship against Orange Cassidy.
Not predictable at all.
As part of the International Grand Prix Poutine McDonald's
Winner gets a hot dog on a stick.
Contest, Tournament of Champions, Clusterfuck Forever, Tournament of Tournaments to meet Kenny Omega at Revolution. Congratulations to you, Takeshita. Like, I got to be honest, I didn't think he was going to pull it out, but somehow, some way, we're getting Takeshita and Kenny Omega. I'm sorry, I've got brown coming out of my eyes. Anyways, let's talk about Collision from this past Saturday night. Another big moment there, although I'm sorry, AEW, but I don't think a whole lot of people were watching Collision. I mean, you go on against the Elimination Chamber, what can you do? But nonetheless, I went back and watched some of it. I mean, it was a pretty solid show. I do think in the past couple of weeks, Collision has been doing some pretty good shows. Of course, you kicked it off with FTR going up against the Undisputed Kingdom. Wheeler Yuta, that's Best Scout's favorite wrestler, was in action. How about Toni Storm with just those remarks she made as she was recovering from that horrific attack from one Mariah May. And it looks like there will be meeting at Revolution. We also got Adam Cole going up against Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship. Of course, that ultimately ended in a no contest. Julia Hart going up against Queen Amanana in a tremendous matchup. And we got to see Powerhouse Hobbs and Bandito go up against Big Bill and Brian Keith. But let's talk about Revolution, as we are just mere days away, and it is a pretty loaded show. I mean, that's the thing with AEW, man. Maybe their weekly television is kind of like the stories to get to where they're going aren't as entertaining or as questionable or whatever you want to call it. But I gotta tell you, B-Roll, I'm excited for this pay-per-view. What about you?
Yeah, I like you said, like sometimes I don't understand how the madness of how it took to get here and how we get here, but man, oh man, is this a loaded show? Like it's just loaded. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like
Yeah.
My big question when looking at this card is, are they going to have the balls to pull the trigger on the Outrunners? I don't think they are.
No,
I don't think they are.
I don't think we're there yet.
But I would be so happy, and I think a lot of people would be so happy.
Okay, I'm gonna call AEW out to man up and put nut up or shut up, if you will. You should close this show with Toni Storm and Mariah May.
100%.
Nothing else should close it. No disrespect against Mox and Cope. Honestly, though, I do think here's my theory on this, a prediction, already here, if you will. I think that closes the show because I think Cope is winning the belt, and then I think Christian cashes in at the end of the night. I think that's what they're going to do. But this is a solid show. I mean, you got, as we said, Moxley and Cope for the AEW title. You got the Women's World Championship in this Hollywood ending between Toni Storm and Mariah May. Remember, that's no DQ, no count out, pinfalls count anywhere. Another tremendous women's matchup is going to be Momo Watanabe from Stardom challenging Mercedes Moné for her TBS championship. We mentioned the Outrunners to challenge the Hurt Syndicate for the tag titles. Takeshita and Kenny Omega for the international championship. Haven't even talked about this one yet. Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher to meet inside a steel cage. That's going to be nuts. MJF and Hangman one-on-one. And on the pre-show, or 0 hour, The Costco guys are back as Big AJ makes his return to AEW. He's going to be teaming up with Mark Briscoe and Orange Cassidy to go up against MXM Collection and Johnny. What are we calling him? Johnny TV, Johnny Elite, Johnny whatever. I've lost track.
John Morrison.
It's John Morrison, for God's sakes. But yeah, Revolution, dude. Yeah, this is looking like a solid card, and it's going to be coming to you live this Saturday, or I'm sorry, live this Sunday. They're in beautiful Los Angeles, California. So, hey, speaking of LA, this past weekend, LA hosted GCW. It was a big weekend for GCW as they had a big West Coast trip. Of course, it kicked off Friday there in San Diego at I Feel So. Of course, the big show was Saturday night at the Ukrainian Center. They're home away from home with the Coldest Winter 3, and wrapping it up on Sunday in Arizona with GCW, just being honest. But that being said, the Coldest Winter 3, loaded show, was an awesome show. If you haven't seen it, go back and rewatch it on Triller. But it just so happens to be our good close friend, the best gout machine, was there live and in color, if you will, to bear witness to GCW's The Coldest Winter 3. It just so happens to be he's got some footage. Here's some highlights from Best Gout's time at GCW this past weekend. Check us out.
Best commentator suffer the consequences. This camera guy so much. Oh, I hate this cameraman so much. I hate this cameraman so much. There we go. Oh, he's on my way. Oh! Oh! Oh, hell. Oh! DDT! Go! There we go. Yeah! Suck it, Shane McMahon! Oh! 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 Come on, Cindy, let's make a baby! Ah, shit. That's what we call an abortion. Ah! Oh! I hate the cameraman. Oh, I hate the cameraman so much. Oh, head to hell with him and his family. He's going to the heavens. Oh! And the cameraman blocks it out again. That son of a bitch. Oh. Welcome to the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame. Absolute pleasure having you. Now leave him alone. He's precious cargo. Homicidal! The genocidal! The tap dance recital! Wait. Two. Oh! on, a cameraman can only be 4'9". Hey, Saturday! Where's the Gold TV? Get your sweet ass back over here! Yeah! I told you to get your sweet ass back over here! Not you, cameraman! Woo! Cole, are you okay? No, you're not. No, you're not. Guys, the cow died for that jacket! Boo! Fuck you! Alright, there's no way the cameraman can climb that ladder, so I'm fine with this. Yeah! We're going to Gore Wars! Gore Wars! Star Wars! Star Wars! Ladies and gentlemen, the doors. No one gets that insult reference. I want to have your baby! Do you hear me, Zach? Woo! I want to have your baby! Screamers! Screamers! Like two! Screamers!
Well, it looks like Best Gout had a tremendous time here at GCW there in Los Angeles.
I want to have your baby.
Hey, huge shout out to Xlj too, man. He suffered a horrendous injury there Saturday night, which somehow he amazingly competed on Sunday night as well there in Arizona in the main event against Dr. Redacted. So in a death match. So Xlj, you are a bad mamma jamma to say the least. But you can catch replays of all those shows over on Triller TV right now. And all are great, by the way. Well, speaking of some independent wrestling, we got to talk about this. It came out this week, and not really a big surprise at all, but one, Ricky Saints has relinquished the Defy Championship. Like I said, not a big surprise here. Obviously, I mean, he was straight up in this video. He's like, hey, I got some opportunities that you all know it's popped up that's going to enable me from defending this title. So I believe it's at the next Defy show. There is going to be a tournament to crown the new Defy world champion. So Defy is one of those promotions too, and our buddy Mike can attest to him because it's his home state. But Defy Wrestling is one of the best indie promotions going today, and I'm so excited. Come the WrestleMania weekend, the collective definitely going to be hitting up the Defy show for sure, because unfortunately I missed it last year. But I'm hyped to see some Defy Wrestling coming up here soon. Now, this was an interesting little factoid that popped up this week. WWE referee Jessica Carr has actually rumored to be competing on WWE's Evolve program under a mask. WWE had trademarked, I forget what her name was, but supposedly it's her. Now, interesting fact, I didn't know until about reading about all this. Jessica Carr is a former wrestler, so she has had time in the ring outside of just wearing the black and white stripes. So interesting enough. So that'll be kind of cool to see what happens there with her and how well she does there in Evolve. And who knows, maybe that'll evolve into her competing on the main roster. See what I did there? Because the name of the show's involved. But anyways, you get it. Now, we don't know the extent of this, but it has come out that Julia is currently working with an injury. As we've seen, it appears that is kind of why they're rushing this Stephanie Fukur-Julia matchup, because it does look like she may be out for a certain period of time, which you hate to hear that. So we here at PW60, we wish her well and hope she recovers very soon. Because nobody knows what the extent of the injury. She's still working apparently, or will be at least against Stephanie Fukur coming up at Roadblock here. But like I say, hopefully she is fine, because I mean she's been on a roll here this past year. Like her first year in NXT is as we had imagined it to go. And yes, it's that time again where we talk about do I say, what do I call him, B-roll? Like, are we can we say Aleister Black again? Are we still saying Malachi Black?
No,
Mr. Black.
You
How about we
him,
just?
You call him no longer with AEW.
Yes, we know that.
We know that.
I guess we just call him Mr. Black or Selena Vega's husband. But apparently, a lot of rumors, and not shocked here, but it appears like Mr. Black has an imminent return coming up to WWE. I mean, it makes sense.
Maybe he returns tonight. Who knows?
He could. Or he could be that shocker that appears the night after WrestleMania on Monday Night Raw. That would be a very impactful moment, because I'm sure everybody's kind of already penciled in for WrestleMania because there's so much talent to deal with. So what a huge moment that would be if he shows up on the Raw after WrestleMania. But it does look like Mr. Black is bound to the WWE. So you can count on that. Also, we got to talk about this. It came out this week that Ryan Nemeth has filed a lawsuit not only against CM Punk, but All Elite Wrestling as well. Of course, this stems back to the issues he had in AEW with some discriminatory things were done against him, against Punk, kind of some bullying and whatnot. So, I don't know. Like, it's like, here we go again, right? Talking about this shit again. It's just like we can't get over it. There's just so much stuff still stemming from the whole Punk's time in AEW. I don't know. What do you make of all this?
Honestly, you want to know what I'm really thinking about?
What's that?
It has absolutely nothing to do with what you said, but everything to do with that man. I mean, you, sir, were very close to that man.
I have been.
Do recall. If you do recall.
Yes.
So honestly, I'm thinking back to those times, and I don't know. Maybe he's gonna file a lawsuit against you for like harassment or something. Like
that was consensual. Okay, that was consensual. You can ask the Hollywood hunk. He wanted some of XLJ just as much as XLJ wanted some of the Hollywood hunk. Okay.
Okay, but yeah, I guess. So long story short, I guess I'm like you. I'm just ready to move on from all of this. I mean, both parties are for the better.
Yeah, I think so. I hope it gets settled and he gets what he deserves, because I mean I am a big fan of Ryan Nemeth, honestly. And if however he feels slight, I mean, we don't know the full story, we probably never will. But I mean, the thing of it is there's just over the past couple years. And once again, I hate this. I feel like every week we kind of harp on AEW, but it's the reality of the situation. There needs to be some more, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like the Papa Khan needs to be the Papa Khan, and there needs to be disciplinary actions taken against talent with shit like this happens. And the fact of the matter is, he just lets the talent run all over him. At least that's what it seems like on paper, and that's what we hear. So the whole thing, as far as I'm concerned, like I'm like, it is what it is. You hate to see it, but hopefully after this, we can finally not talk about this bullshit anymore. Because the fact of the matter is, I mean, you see it weekly on WWE television. CM Punk is in such a better place right now. Him being in WWE and this new regime, it absolutely makes sense. AEW is much better without him, I think. And AEW, like, there's some elements there, that we talk about. But at the end of the day, it's like a divorce, right? And it's just like both parties, like, they just need to move on with their lives. And that's hopefully what we can do is finally, God, I give anything to where we don't have to talk about this shit ever again.
because us as the fan who are your kids, it's hard on us, okay?
It is.
So just move
It's
on
hard.
for your kids, okay?
Yeah, for real. For real. Man, oh man, though, the dirt sheets are going crazy probably over this. Speaking of which, let's go to our boy Jay with the dirt sheet news.
I am not retracting or apologizing for anything. I got the stories right. It's just the fans threw such a big fit WWE change. Hey, it's your boy Jay, bona fide member of the Dirt Sheet Press, and here are some stories you may have missed this past week within professional wrestling. And we all saw the blackout during SmackDown, and I'm not talking about the Rock segment. I'm talking about Tiffy time. Well, it turned out there was a bit of a, what's that called? Wardrobe malfunction. And during that wardrobe malfunction, USA had to think quick, and so they just blacked out the whole screen. And then they got a little censor bar. But we also saw some cussing later on that night, and it took a while for the censors to think about that. I guess because The Rock was there, so you could get away with a lot more. With The Rock, fans seem to be mad that The Rock is back on TV, but I remember just a couple of weeks ago, fans being mad that The Rock was not on TV to progress a story towards WrestleMania. So you tell us in the comments, do you want The Rock a part of WrestleMania or not? But speaking of The Rock, a lot of people weren't sure what was going down in SmackDown backstage. Did I say that right? People weren't sure what was going down backstage during SmackDown this Friday because of The Rock's appearance. It turned out that The Rock's schedule magically became free, and he was able to make an appearance, making them cut time and even cutting a match, even though technically the competitors came to the ring. It's just a match didn't take place and it was a no contest. But anyways, The Rock just magically had time to show up and announce that WrestleMania was going to be in New Orleans. Even though I believe the Dirt Sheet News announced that 2 weeks ago, so did we have the exclusive scoop on that? Possibly. I don't know how, but we did it. Also, Luchasaurus could return to a ring very soon. Doctors have cleared Luchasaurus. If you don't remember, it was a scary scene just a couple of months ago as Luchasaurus was found passed out by his girlfriend. Turned out he had double pneumonia. Doctors have cleared him, but AEW has yet to even contact him, let alone examine him for AEW to clear him to return to a ring. So does that mean AEW is going back to the old AEW tricks and just ignoring wrestlers until they need them? Or do they think Luchasaurus needs more time to recover? So, be looking for Luchasaurus soon? Possibly, if Tony Khan remembers to call him. I rarely do this. Dirt Sheet News. I do the best I can to give you guys news that is not readily available, that isn't on 19 different other news sites. I try to give you guys news that is not reported on really at all. Believe it or not, I do have some sources. And because I rarely report on news that's out there for everyone to know, I really have never reported on something like this. And it's, I don't know what the word is. I'm sorry. I know this isn't true dirt sheet press type news, but Eric Priest, known as the underwear model, I think he went by like the golden standard at one time. I don't know. Maybe I just have Shelton Benjamin. But anyways, Eric Priest, former AAW Heritage Champion. I believe he was once an AWA World Heavyweight Champion as well. Has passed away. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard that already. It is what it is. But he was the guy, Northwest Indiana, basically the Lake Michigan, Chicagoland area. You could call it the Midwest, maybe. Like, he was the guy in the 2000s. Even all the way down to Louisville in IWA Mid-South. If you can, look for a match between him and Shane Douglas if it's available. You may even see a guy at a much younger age, but you may even see a guy you recognize if you can find that match. Or if you can find a match between him and Jerry Lynn. Or, hell, he knocked out Billy Gunn one time with a ring bell. But yeah, Eric Priest, possibly the most influential wrestler trained by Ace Steel. He is the guy who actually shaped, molded, and kept together the way that wrestling in the Chicagoland area is perceived, runs. His fingerprints are even still seen on it to this day. But not exactly sure how you report something like that. But just wanted to put out there. Eric Priest passed away. The underwear model. If you get a chance, just look up a match by him. Match with him. Him and Bat Longtime versus Tyler Black, Seth Rollins. I can't remember who Seth's partner was. That was a hell of a tag team match. I can't think of. I've mentioned Shane Douglas, Jerry Lynn. That took place in IWA Mid-South. But pretty shitty thing for me to end on. Probably should have thought of something better to end on. So, yeah. So, yeah. Sorry for the downer. But those just aren't the facts. Those are the dirty facts. The Dirt Sheet News! Sorry for ending on a downer. Once again, probably should have restructured it. Actually, I have time to restructure it, and I'm not going to do it. Just so you could see how big of an idiot I am.
Oh, Jay, we love you, buddy. We appreciate you so much. And yes, the Dirt Sheet News did get lost in the Postal Service last week, but we wanted to air it this week, of course, because I mean that was a big loss there in the Chicagoland area of the Eric Priest. Like he says, he was very impactful there in that 2000s time frame. So we here at PW60. We want to wish our condolences to their family, to Mr. Priest's family. Now, also this week, it was announced that Stephanie McMahon is going to launch her own podcast. Look at all this stuff Stephanie's doing now. She's got the show on ESPN. Now she's got this going on. I'm very intrigued at what this is going to be with Stephanie McMahon's podcast and who's going to be on it. Because here's the thing. If you look at stuff that Stephanie's done, I think you even saw a sneak peek of the Pat McAfee interview. And you can just tell she brings this unique enthusiasm to it that is going to be very cool to see. What do you think about Stephanie getting her own podcast?
I think it's dope. I mean, ultimately, it seems like it's something that she wants to do. And, if she's happy, doing it, I guarantee it's going to be an excellent product and show or whatever you want to call it, podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to see what comes out of it.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I would have never thought. Who would have thunk Stephanie McMahon would be hosting a podcast and a show on ESPN? I mean, you talk about random. Speaking of random, let's go to Brian with Brian's random moment of the week here on BW60.
That's right, I'm the king of this. King of random whatnot. Hey. Woo! Aha, yeah. Slicked it up so it's not quite. So, yeah. What an elimination chamber we had on Saturday. Jade Cargill's return, attacking Naomi. The WrestleMania card shaping up really, really great now because of all the results from the chamber. There's still other matches still to come, of course. But, of course, the biggest thing, obviously, is Cody Rhodes telling The Rock to do something. And then I keep it PG, so I'm not going to say what he said. Then, of course, we saw and again, the storytelling, Triple Paul is like cooking in the kitchen, flame broiled and all that good stuff. Him and the creative team with the little intricacies. That's what makes great storytelling. The Rock with the throat slash we saw a few months before. So many little things together. So, and we got to see John Cena turn heel for the first time since around 2003. Really, we got to see, everybody was like, oh, we need to see him turn heel back in like 2007, 2011, 2012. Well, we got it about 15 years later. And so what do you think about the heel turn with John Cena going forward? Of course, for his retirement tour, honestly, I feel like he's going to have a face turn at the very end, kind of go out on a high note, whatnot. Could be something, I don't know. But what do you think? But how about we'll throw in a what if as a bonus part for Brian's random segment of the week? And it has to do with John Cena. Speaking of the heel turn, what if John Cena in 2011, 2012, especially with the feud with Kane about embracing the hate, and what if he actually turned heel, new theme music and everything and whatnot, new gear, all that. What if he would have turned heel in either, let's say, 2007 or 2011, 2012? Comment below and let me know, and have yourself a great week and enjoy the rest of PW60.
Thank you so much, Brian. We appreciate you. We love you, brother. And hey, you know who else we love here on PW60? We love our wrestling content creators. And this week, our Ruby Ringside Wrestling Content Creator of the Week is one AVKCC. Now, if you've watched his videos, he has a dog. And it's awesome because his dog cosplays as literally like any type of wrestler you could think of. I think Rey Mysterio a couple times, Penta, Kane, X-Pac, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, just to name a few. What?
Jey Uso.
Jey Uso? Yeah. His dog is awesome. It's like, man, I couldn't do that with my boys. My boys would be like, tearing up shit or barking or whatever, but his dog looks chill as fuck. But nonetheless, our Ruby Ringside Wrestling Content Creator of the Week is one AVKCC. If you're not doing so, go give them a follow on all social media platforms. Big week for TKO this week, obviously, of course, on the road to WrestleMania, as well as with the Elimination Chamber. But they announced a series of some big events coming up. So first off, there will be a mega event that will be taking place in Kansas City in April, as they are taking over. Pretty much they're going to the PBR, was it the bull riding, right?
Bull riding, yep, I guess.
That'll be taken, which, by the way, I find it so fucking weird. It's like, okay, we got WWE, we got UFC, and we got bull riding. But you know what? That's not our world. We don't know shit about bull riding. And bull riding could very well be a prolific sport or prolific, making money for them. I don't know. Only thing I know about bull riding is like 8 seconds the movie, man. Like that's all I know. I'm showing my age because that's back in the 90s, brother. But nonetheless, it's going to kick off with bull riding. And then you got a big UFC fight night on Saturday. And, of course, Monday Night Raw on Monday. All coming to you from the T-Mobile Center there in Kansas City. So should be exciting if you're in the Kansas City area. You know what's weird too about the whole bull riding thing, and I'll get off my high horse here, even though I guess it would be a bull, but it's just weird. Like if you go over to like WWE's like YouTube page, there's a lot of times you can watch some of those bull riding events over on the WWE's YouTube page. It's just like, but I even watched it once, and it was just like for a little bit, and it was just like. There was no mention of WWE or anything. It was just like, it was bull riding. It's like, okay, whatever. Anyways, but also it came out this past week too that WWE and UFC will both be returning to Perth, Australia. Now, if you don't remember, Perth is where Elimination Chamber took place last year. So they will be going back there in the near future for a UFC fight night and some type of, I love to, can I just say this? What's that say right there, B-roll, next to UFC Fight Night? What's that say? Can you tell me? I can't read. I can't see from here. What's that say?
Pay-per-view.
Oh, that's right. It's a PPV, bitches, not a PLE. So suck it, Trebek. I'm just saying.
I think that's for the UFC, though.
God damn it, you ruined it. You ruined it. Well, that's not. It says UFC Fight Night. Is Fight Night's pay-per-views? Is that? I thought that was like on ESPN or some shit.
It is. I don't know.
It
says pay-per-view.
It
says pay-per-view. God damn it!
Take this away from me, damn you. But nonetheless, though, it's going to be cool to see them back in Australia. I thought the shows that they did from Australia was pretty cool when they did Elimination Chamber from there. Hell, they were just in Australia for AEW that did really great there. So Australia is a great crowd, and I'm sure this is going to be an exciting weekend for them nonetheless. Well, B-roll, somehow we have done it. We've talked about everything that happened this past week in the world of professional wrestling. We are on this road to WrestleMania, and who knows what's going to happen tonight on Monday Night Raw? Who knows when John Cena shows up again? We know he's still got to finish making a movie or something, but we'll be seeing him very soon. Can't wait to hear what's going to happen there. Can't wait to see what happens on Raw. Can't wait to see what happens on AEW because we got Revolution this Sunday. Well, thank you so much for watching, and everybody have an awesome week, and we'll see you next week on another episode of Pro Wrestling 60. Take care. Bye-bye.